Belonging. I'm sure many of you already know what this word means. If you don't know what this word means, then stick around and I'll try my best to enlighten you on the true meaning of belonging. In order to assist you, I'm going to talk about a movie called The Blind Side. Now, if you haven't seen this movie, I would strongly recommend that you watch it. Not only is it a great movie, but it is definitely a good introduction into the wild and wonderful world of belonging. The Blind Side is a John Lee Hancock film that was released in 2009, and it shows us the life of Michael Orr, an underprivileged teenager who goes about his life not knowing where his next bed will be. By chance, he meets Patui, an upright all-American family, and from this meeting, one of Leanne's friends says, "You're changing this boy's life," and her reply is, "No, he's changing mine," showing the impact that the sense of belonging had on both Michael and his new family. The first point that this movie brings up about belonging is that a sense of not belonging can come from many aspects of your life. When Michael's application to the Wingate Christian School is being reviewed, Coach Cotton appears to be the only one who is supporting him. He sits separated from the other teachers at the end of the table, a visual representation of their belief that Michael Orr doesn't belong. He says, "Most kids of his background wouldn't come within 200 miles of his place." This shows that, for fear of not belonging and being different, many children would not even attempt to enroll. It is because of this fear that they are potentially harming their chances at having a good education, which would in turn improve their standard of living. Michael Orr also has this fear. He was always on the outside, not quite belonging to anywhere or anyone, and so applying to a well-regarded school in a rich neighborhood would have been a new and terrifying experience for him. After Michael's application has been accepted, the color of his skin is the very first physical barrier that separates him from his classmates. He also sits at a desk by himself. Michael's state of not belonging is conveyed further as he tries to make friends with some of the smaller children who run away, and also when he collects up the extra popcorn left over after a volleyball match. Both his physical characteristics and his lifestyle separate him from his classmates. In a soliloquy-type poem he writes titled White Walls, Michael talks about his feelings of not belonging in the school. He says, "I am surrounded by white floors, white walls, and a lot of white faces." This shows how overwhelmed he feels by the amount of white people in the school, and his words, "I do not understand," and "I have no idea," show the audience just how lost he feels there. A sense of belonging can transcend all racial and social barriers. Michael Orr and Leanne Tui come from two very different worlds. The distinction between these two worlds is shown very clearly during the opening credits of the film. Leanne's world is one of churches, mown lawns, huge mansions, fancy cars, and groups of white teenagers playing baseball. The neighborhood is clearly defined as one of American idealism and white dominance. Against these scenes of opulence, we are shown the world of Michael Orr, where the houses are small and dilapidated, there are homeless people on the street, broken down cars on the grass, and there is not a white person inside. This substantial gap helps the audience to understand the amount of social and racial barriers that their sense of belonging with each other had to overcome. Leanne and Michael's sense of belonging developed from when she invited him into her home for the night. Even this simple gesture overcame many social and racial barriers. We are shown that Leanne's friends very much disagree with her decision to take Michael in. Her friends' reactions are of disbelief and unease, with one of her friends even saying, "What would your daddy think?" showing that they think Michael's adoption would not only tarnish her reputation, but that if her father was still alive, that he would disapprove. Also, the fact that he is an African American shocks her friends, with one of her friends even suggesting that he might try and come on to Leanne's daughter, Collins. These are just two examples of how the movie shows the attitudes of the rich white upper class towards the disadvantaged black community, and just how many barriers were overcome to achieve a sense of belonging between Michael and the Tuohys. A prominent theme in the movie is gridiron. Footage of the sport opens the movie, and it is used throughout to address different ideas of belonging. The first idea that is addressed by American football is that a sense of belonging can come from just one common interest. A football team is made up of many different kinds of people from different backgrounds, cultures, and interests. The one common interest that they share, obviously, is football. It is being part of this team and sharing this common interest that leads to a sense of belonging. Michael Orr is a prime example of this. Not only is he different to his team members in a racial sense, but also in terms of where he comes from and what kind of life he leads. A majority of the players at the Wingate Christian School are from rich white Christian families and have had what would be considered by many to be a life of comfort and luxury. Michael Law, on the other hand, comes from a place where houses are small, salaries are smaller, and drugs, alcohol, and gang war are a part of everyday life. And yet, as part of the football team, he is able to achieve a sense of belonging. Their common goal unites them and is the first step to Michael's sense of belonging within the school. This leads to another point that Gridiron addresses. It is the idea that familial belonging and belonging to a sporting team are very closely linked. In the film, there are many connections made between belonging to a team and belonging to a family. So are they one and the same? Familial belonging is a sense of belonging within a family. Most of the time, this comes from being related to a person by blood. But in Michael Orr's life, this isn't the case. His sense of familial belonging comes from being accepted into his family. The football team brings a very similar sense of belonging to Michael. At his first football practice, Michael's new mother Leanne shows him that familial belonging and belonging to a team are closely linked. She says, "This team is your family, Michael. You have to protect them." She is using his strong sense of familial belonging to encourage his sense of belonging in the team and also to encourage his sporting abilities. This shows that both belonging to a family and belonging to a sporting team show many similarities in terms of what defines each circumstance. I hope this has helped you in your quest to understanding belonging. And just remember, a sense of belonging can come from either one or many aspects of your life. Belonging can transcend all racial and social barriers, and there are also many parallels between familial belonging and belonging to a team. Not even finished. A strong theme in the movie is American gridiron or football. No, no it's not. The first idea that is addressed by if you haven't seen this movie, I would strongly what would I strongly recommend? Nothing. Don't do English. As both his why do I keep saying Pharaoh and Pharaoh? These are the lives of the wealthy citizens of Memphis. Wow, I can't talk. A strong theme in the movie. The rich women in her society would gladly give money in charities and what in her society would gladly give money to charities and organizations that helped Year 12 English students with their belonging speeches. The first idea addressed by Gridiron in the movie is that the first idea. So are they one and the same? No. Many children will not even attempt to write a speech and film it because it's stupid. And I can't do it. Sucks. Which would in turn help improve their living. Just verbal diarrhea. I can't do it. Then. Thanks for watching my English vlog speech. Sorry for the atrocious editing. Not really my thing. And yeah, hope you enjoy the bloopers.